Hey, this is Bride. Just wrapped up my preparation for the studio work today. Mastery Series Module 6 on the fundies. We're talking about focus today, which is our superpower. The theme is an 80-20 look at how to focus your soul force, first big idea, on the only moment that matters, which is right now. So we've got eating, moving, sleeping, breathing. Then we have focusing, celebrating, and prospering are our 7 core fundamentals that make up the Mastery Series. I will walk through this in more detail. But before we go on, big news with the Johnson family. We thought we had 5. Well, we have 5 chickens. We thought that only one of them was a rooster. Looks like a second one is a rooster as well. Whole nother chat. But Emerson was very excited about that. So I start every morning with what I call the Breakfast of Champions. I'm going to do a +1 on it. I'll do one of these on it. And this morning's was celebrating George Mumford, who wrote The Mindful Athlete. I basically look at some great testimonials. I've got a big stack over there. I do my morning journaling, etc. And I like to remind myself of the wins, right? So yesterday's win was the awesome author, George Mumford. He wrote a book called The Mindful Athlete, which is a great book. He was the mental toughness coach, the meditation mindfulness coach for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, worked with Phil Jackson, etc. Anyway, he shared a very sweet note, how much he enjoyed and appreciated the PNTV I did on the Mindful Athlete. I love that for a lot of reasons. 1, it's nice to get celebrated by someone I admire and respect. 2, I'm planning to come back with the PNTV, so it was cool to see that coming back. And then there's some other little things in here that are part of a longer chat that really inspired me. Felt like a wink from the universe. But yes, saw your comments. PNTVs are coming back. I'm loving these little videos as well. I might call them number ones. I've got +1s, which I film in the studio. And then I'm thinking number ones, a daily little video on kind of what I'm thinking about, a big idea that we can make practical, etc. So with that, let's jump in. Chickens are out munching, doing their thing. So 10 big ideas, as always, in our Mastery Series. We start with Soul Force. So we've come up with something we call the Soul Force equation, which is basically the amount of time you invest in something times your energy, times your focus, times what's important right now to the power of consistency. To do this justice, I need to go into more depth. I will link to a +1 on this, and I'll come back to it and do it in more detail. But basically, this is the point of all of our work together. Can you get your energy super dialed in? Then can you focus it on what's most important right now and then do it consistently? And this is actually the most important variable. If you can get your energy to 100, your focus to 100, on what's most important at 100, so assume 1 to 100, 1 to 100, 1 to 100, and you hit 100, 100, 100, right? Then you bring that to the power of 100. If you do the math on that, 100 times 100 times 100 to the power of 100, the answer is literally infinity. It's a really fun little thing to do in your calculator, online or on your computer, whatever. So anyway, the point of this class is to harness and focus our soul force. Then we carpe punctum. There's carpe diem, seize the day, but then there's carpe punctum, seize the moment. The reality is all we have is this moment right now. You got Tolle's The Power of Now. Well, let's really activate that, engage it, and realize that your past has obviously created your present, and your present is going to create your future. Those are all just presents. Your past is just prior presence, and your current present, of course, is creating your future, and then your future will just be another present, which will be a combination of all the things you're doing now. End of the day, what that means is focus on right now. That's all that matters. Give your best to this moment, and you will create an awesome future. Carpe punctum. Then we talk about the spotlight of attention. This, scientists say, is your number one asset, your number one skill you want to develop. To be able to put your mind where you want, when you want, for how long you want, period. We're going to talk about how to cultivate that. So that's the high level. Then we have 3 practices. Actually, after we talk about one more thing, we have 3 practices. So we need to do what I call target practice. Target practice. Starting with our soul goals. How do you know what's important right now? The only way you can know what's important right now is if you have a clear target. And the only way you can have a clear target is if you have clear goals at the highest level. Who are you? What are you here to do with your life? We talk a lot about the ultimate game we're playing based on ancient wisdom and modern science called eudaimonia. having a good soul. So we call those soul goals. Okay, cool. What's your wildly important target? Energy, work, and love-wise. We're going to help our coaches and their clients get real clear on that and then go win moment to moment to moment. Then how do you do that? You got to train that ability. We're going to talk about technology. Cal Newport, I absolutely love him and his work. Digital minimalism, deep living, and then we're also going to talk about smartphone effects. Long story short here, your energy, your work, and love, all of them are diminished by obsessive use of smartphones. Your energy, you lose presence. Literally, you lose your power in that regard, and of course, you enervate yourself when you're online all day. Work, you will be less productive if your smartphone is not out of sight and out of touch. If it's sitting there on your desk, it's going to distract you. A part of your consciousness will make you think about that and make you less productive. The science is unequivocal here. And then relationships, love as well, same thing. You can put someone else's phone on the table while you're having lunch, and you will have a more shallow connection, a less deep connection than if none of you had your phones out. That's a big idea if you want to live deeply and actualize your potential and bring soul force to the moment. So we're going to coach and train that. And actually measure how many times you compulsively grab your phone. You can look at that. Number of touches, it's a humbling number. You should know it. What you measure improves. Compulsive touches, how many do you have? My target is 0. And then when I hit the target, I do this little symbol here, which represents being a philosopher, longer chat. Then we're going to talk about the focus gym. Do you want to cultivate your ability to focus? Do some mental strength training, AKA meditation. We have 5 Ds of meditation. Do it with dignity, define an anchor, do it with determination, then do it again. Then the 6th D is actually don't judge it. Again, longer chat. We're actually going to do a guided meditation. I've got a virtue meditation that our coaches and optimizers do. Then it's OTFs, opportunities to focus. In our movement session, we had OTMs, opportunities to move. Well, you want to have training in the morning. You want to restrict your technology. Then you want to create opportunities to focus. On a micro and a macro level, you want to create big time blocks where you're focused on your energy, where your work and your love, and you're only doing one thing at a time. Burning holes with the intensity of your focus, knowing that multitasking is a myth. All you can do is task switch, but there's residue on that, which diminishes your power. Then we have, and I altered this as I went, what do? We go from here to targeted thinking, moving from being a victim to being a hero, knowing what you want. If you're ruminating on all the things that aren't working in your life, you're not going to be able to focus. You got to target your thinking. What do I want right now? And then what do I need to do? Boom, repeat. 9th idea, be a radiant, charismatic exemplar. The reality is that this whole soul force thing, where you just show up with this power that's palpable, so there's a science to that. It's called charisma. And there's 3 aspects to it: presence, power, and warmth. We're going to unpack that and challenge our coaches to be radiant, charismatic exemplars. And then we always end it with, what's the number one thing you're going to do that will most significantly change your life? We playfully say, you are a conqueror writing yourself a prescription. Like going to a doctor, right? Boom. You go to a philosopher, they hand you, at least an optimized philosopher, they hand you a prescription pad and say, here you go. What are you going to do? What's the number one thing you know you could do that would most benefit your life? Today's the day to do it. Conqueror literally means to seek successfully. So a lot of times people talk about people who are into self-development as seekers. Well, that's nice. We prefer conquerors. Seek successfully. What are you going to do today to change your life? Obviously, I just dropped a ton, and I'm fired up to share this. What's the thing you can do today? Think about that. Get on it. And then also, I've mentioned the coaching program a lot. We've got a new program launching in 3 weeks. We've trained way over 1,000 people now in over 50 countries around the world. The program is, they're telling us, super transformative. We know it works, and it's also kind of our key lever to change the world. How do we help people be the change so we can change the world together, one person at a time, together, starting with you and me today? And the theme is master yourself, serve heroically, empower others to do the same. If that sounds like fun, check out optimize.me/coach. You'll get access to the Mastery Series and a ton of other stuff we do. We're bringing in dozens of world-class luminaries to help us coach our coaches, tons of other cool stuff. But optimize.me/coach. And then, of course, the general membership, which is only $10 a month. around that is at optimize.me well, just go to optimize.me. You can sign up for a free 2-week trial, etc. Let's do this. Make today awesome.